It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Hi, my name is Candace, aka Picasso Baby. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. And if you have been here before, thanks for coming back. So before we get started, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so that you do not miss the next painting tutorial. So today I am going to be showing you how to create your own Christmas painting. You can do this painting easily right at home to hang for decorations or just something fun to do with your friends, family, or loved ones. And if you can see right to the side here, that is an example of the painting. I'm going to show you how you can switch the colors up and really make it your own. But before we get started, I am going to go over some of the things that I'm going to be working with. So as you can see, I do have a blank canvas. This is a 16 by 20 inch. You can use whatever size you'd like. It's completely up to you. I also have some different assorted acrylic brushes because I do work with acrylic paint. I have napkins to dry my brushes off on, a water cup with cool water to wash my brushes, and I also have my paint plate. So on my plate, I do have the colors red, brown, white, blue, black, and yellow. And I'm just going to be using these primaries to mix up different colors that I want. And I'm going to be using some of them as is. But keep in mind, this is your painting, so you're going to be able to use whatever colors you like and really make it your own. So let's go ahead and get started. So to start my painting, I want to simply lay out my background. So what I'm pretty much going to be doing is dividing my background between the color of the background and where the actual tree is going to be. Because on one side I'm going to have the tree, and then on the other side I'm going to have the color of the background and then also a word. I'm going to be writing the word joy, but you're going to be able to write whatever word you like. So I'm just working with a bit of a bigger flat brush, and I am going to actually use a little bit of yellow to divide my background because I want to make a green tree. So I'm going to mix up some green later, but I'm going to start with yellow first. What I'm going to do here, it's like I'm almost making like a cut off triangle, and I'm not going to go too far out because keep in mind, you want your tree to go further out towards the end. So the first one I'm going to do, I'm just coming over just a little bit, and I'm going to pull a line over. So almost like, again, like a cut off triangle. I'm going to do that again. I'm stacking them, and this line is going to go out a little further. I'm going to continue to do that, but every time I'm going to pull my line out just a little further. And then that last line I'm just going to take right to the bottom. So now that I have that all in, what I'm going to do, and just so that you can see it a little better, I'm going to add some blue to my brush. And I'm going to go back in and go over that. So, almost like a cut off triangle there. Continue the same. And as you can see, I'm going further out as I go further down. And then that last line, I just pull right to the bottom. So, I'm going to actually paint in my tree first, and then I'm going to go to my background. So, you can mix up blue and yellow right on your plate. Keep in mind, the more yellow you use, the brighter your green is going to be. The more blue you use, the darker your green is going to be. Or if you have green already at home, you can use a pre-mixed green. And once I have my green, all I'm going to do is go in and start to fill my tree completely in. So I'm going each level, filling it completely in. So now that the tree is completely filled in, all I want to do is decide on a background color. For my background color, I'm going to be doing a red. So again, you can choose whatever color you like. But now I'm going to keep using that same brush. Just make sure to wash it out really good and dry it off. And I'm going to start to go into my red paint. And now I'm painting everything next to the Christmas tree. So if you want, you can always I like to do a little outline next to the Christmas tree first. And if you overlap the tree a bit, don't worry. Just keep on painting. So I like to do a little bit of an outline first. And then I'm going to go in and fill in the entire background. And again, remember, you can use whatever color you like. It's completely up to you. Once you have your background completely filled in, I'm going to go back and add a second layer to the tree. I want to add this layer in before it starts to dry completely. That way it blends in really well. So what you're going to do this time, I'm going to go in with more of like a round brush. So not really flat, more of a round tip. And what I'm going to do, I am going to continue to use my mixture of green. If you don't have any more green, make sure to mix up a little more. And all I'm going to do is right on the edges, I'm going to start to pull out quick little lines to make it more tree-like. So right on the edges, I'm just pulling out lines. And some of your background color, you might pick up some of it. That's completely fine. Just allow it to really blend in. That's what's going to give your tree some extra color and some extra character. And I'm doing that on each of these points that we had. So I have 2 more points here. I'm pulling out quick little lines to create more of like that leaf texture. And what I'm also going to do, I'm going to leave that green on my brush, and I'm going to add a little bit of white to the end of my brush. And across each layer, so how we had those lines going, I'm going to start to pull out like little white and green lines as if they're just like little snow on the ends of the tree. And if you want to do this in more places than just across the ends or across each layer, you definitely can do this wherever you want to see it at. I'm just adding this on the layer area to kind of give it a more layered look. So to really make the tree look fuller. But again, you can add these kind of snow pieces or highlights wherever you want to see them at. So I'm just continuing to go layer by layer, filling my tree up. I think that's one of the most important parts of putting your Christmas tree up, is making sure that your tree is full, making it look full, pulling out those branches and those pieces. So that's pretty much what we're doing right here, just fluffing it up, making it a Rockefeller tree. And I'm going to do one more layer across the bottom. All the way to the edge here. Now again, keep in mind, if you want to go back and like fluff up some other areas, you definitely can. Like I'm going to add just a little bit across the top just to give it some extra color. Maybe a few pieces in some other spots. And once you have that done and your tree is pretty filled and your background is filled in, all we want to do is let this dry. So we have to let it dry before we can add on our ornaments and also add on our word. If you would like to blow dry it, you definitely can. If you don't want to wait the 10 or 15 minutes, you definitely can use a blow dryer to make sure that it's dry. Otherwise, just give yourself about 10 or 15 minutes, walk away for a little while, have a drink, refill your drink, and then we're going to start on the ornaments.
Few moments later.
All right, So it's time to get back to this painting. So what I'm going to be doing next, now I want to add those details that are going to really bring it together. So I want to add in my word, and I'm also going to be adding in my ornaments, but I'm going to add my word in first. So for my word, I'm going to be using a smaller flat brush. So just a little bit of a smaller flat brush. And I'm using white paint to get my word on there. You can use whatever color you like. I am writing the word joy. You can write whatever words you like. It's completely up to you. So what I'm going to do first is I just want to get the letter on there. So I'm just kind of writing it. Not really worried about how it actually looks yet. Okay, so I have the word joy. Looks kind of crazy right now, but I'm going to go back in and really make it some nice bubble letters. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to curve in here, make that. Same thing up here, curve in, take it down. Do the same thing with my O. And with my Y as well. And again, you can really make this your own. So let's say you don't want this kind of script. You can definitely do like cursive. You can write it regular, however you want it to be. It's really up to you. Really make this painting your own. Because again, you have to hang this in your home. So you want to make sure that it matches your style and your decor. And now that I have all of those bubbles on there, all I'm going to do is continue using the same brush, and I'm going to go back and get it filled in. And I'm still just filling it in with all white. Side of my O filled in. And then I'm also going to fill in my Y. And one thing you can also go back and do if you want to give it like just some extra detail, really make it pop, you can go back and add in like an accent color. So for example, I'm going to take a little bit of my red on my brush. So I'm still leaving the white on there, but I'm going to take a little bit of the red. And I'm just going to go in the middle of each letter. And kind of add a bit of a red highlight. If you want to go a step further, you can even give it a black outline so that it really stands out. It's completely up to you. But I just added like a little bit of a red highlight in the middle of my letters. And now I am going to go back and add in my ornaments. So for my ornaments, I'm going to be using a bit of a smaller brush. So I'm using a smaller round brush. And the ornaments are super, super simple. Now, if you would like to add different ornaments like stars, snowflakes, things like that, and you want to get really creative, it's completely up to you. I'm just going to be adding some regular little ornaments and just some circles, so little ornament balls. And all I'm doing is I make the circle and I fill it in, and I go one color at a time. So I'm starting with white, and I'm going to add as much of the white as I want, making sure to spread it out like you would do in a real Christmas tree. Making sure to really spread that white out before I move on to the next color. So now that I have my white on there, all I'm going to do is keep picking up new colors You can mix colors, like if you want to mix orange, you can mix up red and yellow right on your plate. If you want to mix up like a goldish color, you can mix up brown and yellow. What colors you decide to use is completely up to you. But again, I am going to start to pick up new colors and get my tree filled in by just creating circles and filling them in. So now that I have my ornaments on there, what I'm going to do next is, and this part is completely optional, but I'm just going to go a little step further, and I'm going to use, again, a smaller round brush, and I'm using just white paint, and I'm going to go throughout my tree and add some little stars. So all I'm doing is I start with the X, and then in between there, I add a little cross. And you can even add this like if you wanted to see it on the background. Again, I start with an X and then a cross. So I'm going to do that in a couple of spots just to give it some extra sparkle, that Christmas touch. And again, you can get as creative with this as you like. If you wanted to make some little gifts at the bottom, anything that you want to add, it's completely up to you. You can really make this painting your own. It's super, super simple, but you can add any details you'd like to really make it your own. I'm going to add one more little star. What I'm also going to do with this white is I'm going to add some accents, like some little highlights on my ornaments. So on the ornaments that have a good amount of color, so like my blue ornaments, my red ornaments, my purple, I'm going to make a little white dash right on them to kind of give it like almost like a little sparkle. Again, really giving it that Christmas look, like it's all lit up, ready for the presents to go underneath. And you don't have to do that part on like all of them, but you definitely can if you really want to, spruce it up. And once you have done that, the very last thing you want to make sure to do is you want to make sure to sign your painting. So I am just going to keep using that small brush. I'm going to actually use a little bit of black paint this time, and I'm just going to do my initials right in the corner. All right, so now that you have signed your painting and your holiday painting is completely finished, you can now hang it, enjoy it. I hope you had a great time painting with me. Thank you so much for joining me. Keep in mind that you can find all of these art supplies right at any art supply store, Walmart, Target, anywhere that sells art supplies. Or if you would like a prepackaged kit, we do sell the prepackaged kits on paintpartydet.com, where you can choose from this painting and many others so that you can paint at home and enjoy yourself safely during these times. Again, thank you so much for painting with me. And if you have any suggestions, make sure to leave them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.